The gathering storm. The great chamber of the Galactic Council stretched high and endless, its walls made of shining stone taken from forgotten stars. Light shimmered through massive glass panels, casting strange colors across the floor. Hundreds of alien leaders filled the hall, their voices low and sharp, whispering about the latest newcomers. Their eyes, cold and curious, turned again and again toward the humans. Humanity had been invited to these peace talks for the first time. It was supposed to be a chance to prove they belonged among the stars, a chance to show they wanted peace. Yet from the very beginning, the atmosphere was heavy with doubt. The aliens spoke in secret tones, mocking the humans as if they were children lost in a galaxy too vast for them to understand. The humans sat quietly at their table. They did not argue. They did not shout. Their diplomats kept calm expressions, their hands folded, their voices quiet. They listened as threats and demands were thrown at them like stones in the dark. Behind their still eyes, however, there was something waiting, something that no one in the chamber could yet see. The Supreme Chancellor of the Council raised his voice. His long, silver-scaled body shimmered as he spoke, his tone filled with superiority. "Humanity comes to us speaking of peace," and he said. "Yet you are small, you are weak, and you carry no weight in this galaxy. If you want to survive, you must obey the Council. You must give what is asked. Surrender your weapons. Surrender your worlds. Submit to our law." The hall echoed with laughter. Alien warlords slammed their claws and fists on the table in mocking rhythm. Some even hissed threats across the room, their voices dripping with arrogance. One tall figure, his armor burning with strange symbols, leaned forward and growled, "If you refuse, Earth will burn. Your ships will be dust. Your people will beg for mercy, and we will give none." Still the humans stayed silent. Their lead diplomat, a tall woman with sharp eyes, did not blink. Her calmness unsettled a few of the younger alien leaders. They expected fear. They expected trembling. But the humans showed none. Outside the windows, far across the stars, hidden fleets drifted in silence. They were cloaked, waiting unseen by most sensors. Humanity had not come unprepared, though no one in the chamber knew it yet. The negotiations dragged on. For hours, alien empires made demands. They wanted Earth's resources. They wanted Earth's soldiers. They wanted Earth's obedience. Again and again, humanity's diplomats refused. But their refusals were polite, measured, never shouted. The calmness of their voices only made the council angrier. One warlord, his eyes glowing with fire, struck the table so hard the sound shook the chamber. "You dare defy us?" he roared. "Your planet is nothing. Your people are nothing. This is your last chance. Kneel or die." The chamber grew silent. Every alien eye turned toward the humans. The moment of truth had arrived. The human diplomat slowly rose to her feet. Her movements were graceful yet heavy with unspoken weight. The hall watched in silence, waiting for words of surrender. The alien leaders leaned forward, already smiling at what they thought would come next. But the human did not bow. She did not lower her head. She looked around the chamber, her gaze steady, and spoke with a voice clear and strong. "We came here for peace," she said. "We came here willing to listen, willing to share, willing to build a future together. But peace cannot be built on threats. It cannot be built on chains. You ask us to kneel? We will not kneel." The chamber froze. For a moment, not a single voice rose. The silence was deeper than space itself. Then the council erupted in noise. Shouts of rage, cries of disbelief, laughter mixed with fury. The Supreme Chancellor's silver scales glowed hot, his voice shaking with anger. "You dare defy the council?" he hissed. "Then you have chosen your fate." But even as he spoke, some of the older alien leaders shifted uneasily. There was something strange in the human woman's calmness, something that did not fit the picture of weakness they had painted in their minds. She spoke like someone who carried strength unseen. The humans did not move. They stood their ground as storm after storm of threats poured over them. Their silence was louder than any shout. Their refusal was sharper than any blade. In the shadows of the chamber, a small flicker of unease began to spread. A whisper passed from alien to alien. What if humanity was not what they seemed? What if there was something hidden behind their silence? And then, without warning, the human diplomat leaned forward slightly, her voice dropping lower, colder, filled with a weight that pulled at every word. "If peace is broken today," she said, "then the galaxy will see who we truly are." The council chamber fell silent again. The words hung in the air, heavy as stone. The aliens did not understand, not yet. They still believed humanity was bluffing. They still believed Earth had come to beg. But outside the chamber, in the quiet of space, something vast was already moving. The storm was coming, and when it arrived, the galaxy would never forget. The breaking point. The council chamber did not calm after the human diplomat's final words. Instead, the silence broke like glass, and the room filled with voices that clawed at one another. Some leaders shouted for immediate war, their tongues sharp with fury. Others called for caution, warning that humanity's defiance was dangerous. The noise rose until the air itself seemed to tremble. The humans did not flinch. They remained still, their faces calm, as if they had expected every insult, every threat. The alien empires wanted them to kneel. They wanted to crush humanity beneath the weight of tradition and law. But Earth had refused, and that refusal spread through the chamber like fire across dry fields. The Supreme Chancellor rose again, his tall body bending over the humans as though his shadow could drown them. His silver-scaled face glared with cold rage. "You speak of peace," he hissed, his voice like metal grinding against stone. "Yet you come here with arrogance. You believe you are equal to us. But you are not. Humanity is a child race. You were given this chance to survive, and you throw it away. Do you not understand what will follow?" The human diplomat met his gaze without fear. "We understand," she said. "We understand more than you think." Her words were calm, but they carried a weight that made several alien leaders shift uncomfortably in their seats. The arrogance that had filled the room began to bend into something else, something harder to name. It was not respect. It was not yet fear, but it was a shadow of both. Then from the far end of the chamber, one of the warlords rose. His body was a mountain of muscle and steel, his armor thick with battle scars. His people were known across the stars for conquering worlds with fire and blade. He slammed his massive claw down on the table, and the sound cracked like thunder. "Enough of this game," he growled. His voice was low, deep, carrying the weight of countless wars. "The humans have wasted our time. They come here with weak words. They have no fleets worth fearing, no armies worth naming. I say we end this now. We march on Earth, we crush their defenses, and we make them an example. No one defies the council." The chamber erupted with cries of agreement. Dozens of voices rose, calling for war. Some alien rulers even stood, pounding their fists against their tables, demanding blood. The humans sat surrounded by fire, but they did not move. Their silence was louder than the shouts. Their stillness cut through the storm of noise like a blade through cloth. Finally, the warlord pointed one claw at the humans. "You have one last chance," he said. "Bow to us. Accept your place, or your world will be ashes before the sun sets." The chamber fell silent, waiting. All eyes turned again to the humans. Surely this time they would beg. Surely this time they would show weakness. No one believed Earth could stand against the combined might of the galaxy. The human diplomat rose once more. She did not speak at once. She looked around the chamber, letting her gaze meet the eyes of those who hated her people and those who doubted. Her calmness seemed unnatural in the storm of threats that surrounded her. When she finally spoke, her words were slow, steady, and cold. "You threaten Earth with fire," she said. "You threaten our people with chains. But you forget one thing. We do not break easily. We do not bow. You think we came here with empty hands? But you are wrong." The chamber shifted. Murmurs spread like ripples across still water. The alien leaders exchanged uneasy glances. They had expected begging, not defiance. They had expected fear, not this strange, quiet strength. The Supreme Chancellor narrowed his eyes. "Are you saying humanity came here with weapons hidden? Are you saying you came not for peace, but for war?" The diplomat did not answer. She did not need to. Her silence was an answer in itself. It was enough to make the chamber restless, to plant doubt in the minds of even the most arrogant rulers. At last, the Chancellor struck his staff against the floor, sending a deep echo through the chamber. "Then so be it," he declared. "The peace talks are over. Humanity has chosen its fate." The room erupted again, louder than ever before. Orders were shouted. Threats screamed, alliances formed in whispers. The galaxy had turned in a single moment, and now the storm was ready to break. Humanity was surrounded by enemies, every empire sharpening its blades, preparing its fleets. Yet the humans did not appear shaken. If anything, their silence deepened, as though they were waiting for something the others could not yet see. Far above the chamber, high beyond the walls of stone and glass, the stars burned cold and patient. Out there, unseen by most, something vast was already moving. Fleets stirred in the darkness. Engines hummed with power. Weapons charged in silence. The aliens in the chamber believed they had cornered humanity, believed they had forced Earth into a cage. But the humans knew the truth. They had not been dragged into a trap. They had walked into this chamber with open eyes, carrying not fear but purpose. The warlord who had threatened Earth leaned close across the table, his voice low, dripping with venom. You cannot hide from us. When our fleets move, your skies will burn. Your oceans will boil. Your children will scream. That is the price of defiance. The human diplomat's eyes did not flicker. She spoke softly, but her words cut through the hall like steel. If peace is gone, then you will see what humanity carries. You will see what waits behind the silence. The chamber grew cold. Even the loudest voices fell silent for a heartbeat. There was something in her words, something that made even the most arrogant rulers pause. And then, far above, beyond the walls of the chamber, alarms began to ring. Sensors caught strange signals, massive readings that did not belong. Something was coming closer. Something enormous. The aliens in the chamber froze. Their leaders looked to the skies, their eyes wide with confusion. The humans remained still. They knew what the alarms meant. They had always known. The breaking point had come. Humanity's arsenal revealed. The alarms echoed through the chamber like the heartbeat of a dying star. Red lights flickered across the tall stone walls, turning the council chamber into a place of shadows and fear. The alien leaders looked up at the glowing signals above their seats, their voices breaking into confusion. Unknown signatures, one shouted. Too large, too many, impossible, cried another. The council guards rushed to their consoles, their hands trembling as they tried to read the data streaming across their screens. The numbers made no sense. The scale of it was beyond reason. Fleets, entire fleets were being detected where no fleets should exist. The warlord who had threatened Earth bared his teeth, his claws digging into the table. What trick is this? He growled. His voice shook, though he tried to hide it. What have you done? The human diplomats did not answer. They remained still, their faces calm, their eyes sharp. Only the faintest shift of a smile touched the lips of the lead diplomat. It was not a smile of joy. It was not a smile of cruelty. It was a smile that spoke of inevitability. High above the chamber in the endless dark of space, shadows peeled away from the stars. They were not asteroids. They were not wrecks drifting silently through the void. They were ships, human ships. One by one they emerged from cloak. Their forms were sharp, armored, bristling with weapons that glowed faintly against the dark. First came a single dreadnought, its size greater than the alien leaders had imagined humans could build. Then came another, and another. Dozens of massive warships spread across the void, their engines burning like silent suns. The council chamber shook with noise. Alien leaders screamed over one another, shouting into comms, demanding answers from their fleets. Some denied what they saw. Others whispered in horror. How? How did Earth build this? The human diplomat finally spoke, her voice soft but heavy, each word striking like a hammer on stone. You thought we came with empty hands? You thought we came to beg? You thought wrong. Outside, the human fleet spread its wings. Smaller ships, escorts, and fighters streamed from the bellies of the dreadnoughts, leaving glowing trails across the stars. They moved in disciplined formations, not the wild scatter of a desperate force. This was not the fleet of a child race. This was the fleet of a power that had prepared in silence, waiting for the moment when it would no longer be ignored. Alien leaders stared at the screens above them, their faces drained of pride. For centuries they had mocked humanity as weak, primitive, unworthy of fear. But now in one breath the illusion shattered. Humanity's arsenal was no rumor. It was there, sharp and real, a storm forged in steel and fire. The Supreme Chancellor's voice cracked through the chaos. This is madness. These ships, they cannot exist. You had no time, no resources, no allies. How could you build this? The diplomat turned her gaze toward him. You never watched closely enough, she said. You looked at Earth and saw weakness. But weakness is only the mask we wore. While you dismissed us, we built. While you threatened us, we prepared. While you mocked us, we armed. The chamber shook again as another massive ship decloaked. This one was larger than any vessel the council had seen before. A behemoth with a hull lined in glowing veins of blue energy. Its weapons bristled like the teeth of some ancient predator. Its shadow swallowed the light of the stars. Gasps filled the chamber. Impossible, whispered one alien, his voice trembling. No empire has a ship of that scale. Not even the founders, yet there it was, an Earth creation, cold and waiting. Its cannons aimed not at a single enemy, but at the galaxy itself. The warlord who had promised Earth's destruction now struggled to speak. His fury had drained into silence. His eyes darted between the humans and the vision of the fleet above. For the first time, he tasted fear. The human diplomat let the silence grow, let the fear deepen. Then she spoke again, her words simple, unbroken. We did not want this. We offered peace. You chose war. But if war is what you bring, then war is what you will meet. We came armed not to conquer, but to survive. And we will survive. Her words fell into the chamber like stones into a still pool. No one spoke back. No one laughed. No one mocked. The sound of alarms, the sight of human warships filling the stars, those were answers enough. Some alien leaders began to shift in their seats, whispering in urgent tones, already considering retreat. Others tried to mask their fear with anger, but their trembling hands betrayed them. The council chamber, once filled with the arrogance of empires, now felt smaller, colder, weaker, and still the human fleet kept growing. More signatures appeared on the sensors, more cloaked vessels revealing themselves one by one. The stars outside were no longer free. They were caged in steel, and the key belonged to Earth. The Supreme Chancellor tried again, his voice desperate now, no longer sharp. You will not fire. If you unleash those weapons, the galaxy will burn. You will destroy everything, including yourselves. The diplomat's eyes narrowed. That depends on you, she said. You wanted to see what humanity carries. Now you have seen. Choose carefully what comes next. The words hung in the chamber. Every leader felt them heavy as chains. For the first time, the galaxy realized that Earth had not arrived unarmed. Earth had arrived prepared, but the tension did not break. It grew sharper like a blade held at the throat of the council. Because now every alien ruler understood one thing. The humans had shown their arsenal, but they had not yet used it. And the question lingered, unspoken and heavy in every mind. Would they? The shattered illusion of peace. The chamber no longer roared with insults. It quivered with silence, the silence of fear. The alien leaders who once laughed now sat frozen. Their eyes locked on the glowing screens above them. Outside, the void of space had become a sea of steel. Human ships filled the stars, their weapons alive with cold light. No one wanted to admit it, but every ruler in that hall knew. The balance of power had shifted. The warlord who had demanded Earth's surrender earlier could not meet the humans' gaze. His massive claws, once slammed on the table with arrogance, now twitched nervously. He opened his mouth to speak, but no words came. His people, famed for their endless conquests, had never faced such a sight. They had never seen strength so calm, so silent, so controlled. The Supreme Chancellor tried to steady his breath. His silver-scaled skin pulsed faintly, betraying the panic beneath his voice. Humanity, he said softer than before. You must understand the danger. If you ignite war here, the galaxy will not forgive. You will be crushed beneath the weight of every empire. The lead human diplomat did not move at first. She allowed the weight of silence to stretch across the chamber, to remind the galaxy that the humans were no longer the ones under judgment. Then she spoke, her voice low but unshakable. We did not come to ignite war. We came to prevent it. But your threats, your chains, your laughter, you left us no choice. You believed we were weak because we chose silence. But silence is not weakness. Silence is patience. And patience builds power. Her words struck deeper than weapons. The chamber stirred with uneasy whispers. Empires that had joined together in mocking Earth now looked at one another with doubt. If humanity could build this fleet in secret, what else had they hidden? How much had they prepared? Outside, the ships shifted, slowly, deliberately. Entire lines of dreadnoughts turned their cannons toward the council station. Dozens of targeting beams painted across the void, each one a silent promise. If one order was given, the station would not survive a heartbeat. Inside the chamber, panic spread. Some alien rulers shouted into their comms, ordering their fleets to hold defensive lines. Others demanded negotiations. A few even rose from their seats, trembling as they begged for calm. The warlord could not take it any longer. His voice cracked with fury and fear as he shouted, "You dare aim weapons at the council. Do you think you can frighten us? Fire if you dare. and you will drown in our vengeance." But even as he shouted, his eyes betrayed him. He knew what would happen if those weapons were unleashed. Everyone did. The human diplomat finally turned her gaze toward him. Her voice was steady, without anger, without pride. "We do not need to fire," she said. "Our presence is enough." The warlord's mouth snapped shut. Then the chamber trembled. Not from voices, not from arguments, from the outside. A ripple of energy flashed across the stars as one of humanity's ships powered its main cannon. The beam did not fire, but the glow lit up the council station, bathing the chamber in blue light. Every alien leader fell silent. Their hearts pounded in unison, caught between terror and disbelief. Humanity was showing them not an empty bluff, but a taste of what waited behind the curtain. The Chancellor rose again, but now his voice shook. "Stop this madness," he begged. "Stand down your fleet. If you fire, this council dies, and with it, the galaxy's last hope for peace." The human diplomat's eyes sharpened. "You speak of peace now, when you spent hours mocking it. Peace was never your goal. You wanted obedience, you wanted chains, you wanted to remind us we were small, but we are not small. We are here, and we will not kneel." The chamber rang with her words. No one laughed now. No one mocked. For the first time in memory, the council hall, where empires had ruled without challenge, felt powerless. Some rulers tried to cling to their pride. One cried out, "Even if you destroy us, you will fall in the ashes. Humanity cannot fight the entire galaxy." The diplomat's voice grew colder. "You mistake us. We do not seek to destroy. But if forced, we will not fall alone. If we burn, the galaxy will burn with us. That is the price of your arrogance." A wave of dread filled the room. The alien leaders looked at one another, realizing the trap they had walked into. They had thought humanity weak, easy to control. Instead, they had uncovered a force that would rather bring the stars down in fire than kneel to chains. Outside, the human fleet moved again, forming a vast circle around the station. Their formation was precise, disciplined, almost ritualistic. The glow of their weapons painted the void like a storm ready to break. The warlord finally collapsed back into his seat, his face pale, his claws trembling. For the first time, he said nothing. The Chancellor tried to speak again, but his voice cracked. "What do you want, humanity? What is your demand?" The diplomat stepped forward, her eyes burning with cold fire. "We asked for peace, and you refused. We asked for respect, and you mocked us. Now you will listen. Either you stand down, or the galaxy will learn what it means to awaken a sleeping arsenal." The chamber trembled with her words. Every leader felt the weight of choice pressing on their shoulders. And then, from the void, another signal appeared. It was larger, stronger, heavier than all before. A new ship had arrived. A human ship so massive that its shadow swallowed even the dreadnoughts. The council froze. The galaxy's heart stopped, and the realization spread. Humanity had not yet shown everything. The illusion of peace was shattered. The day the galaxy changed, the new signal spread across the chamber's screens like a tidal wave. At first, the alien leaders thought it was an error. The readings were too vast, too impossible. But as the shadow fell over the stars, the truth silenced every whisper. A ship, larger than any dreadnought, drifted into view. Its hull stretched. For miles, its armored frame layered with dark steel and glowing veins of light. Entire cities could have rested upon its back. Weapons lined its body like the spines of a great beast, each one humming with power. The human fleet, vast as it already was, now seemed like an escort for this single Leviathan. Gasps broke the silence. Some rulers stood, their faces pale, their bodies trembling. Others gripped the edges of their seats, their pride collapsing under the weight of what they saw. The council chamber, a place where empires once believed themselves untouchable, now felt smaller than ever. The Supreme Chancellor's voice cracked as he whispered, "It cannot be real. No world could build such a ship." The lead human diplomat looked up at the screens, her calm eyes reflecting the glow of her people's creation. "It is real," she said. "And it is ours." No one argued. No one mocked. The fear was too deep, The arrogance that had once filled the chamber was gone, replaced by silence so heavy it seemed to crush the air. The warlord who had promised Earth's destruction sat hunched, his massive frame trembling. His voice, once thunder, now broke like brittle glass. Why? Why would you build this? What madness drives a people to such weapons? The diplomat's gaze fell on him, her tone sharp but steady. Because we knew this day would come. We knew you would not accept peace. We knew you would see kindness as weakness. So we built not for conquest but for survival. We built so that when this day arrived, humanity would not bow. Her words struck the chamber like lightning. Every leader felt the weight of them. Humanity had not been lucky. Humanity had not been desperate. Humanity had been patient and preparing while the galaxy laughed. Outside, the great ship moved into position, its shadow covering the council station. Its weapons remained, silent, but their glow was enough to freeze the blood of every empire present. The Chancellor finally spoke again, his voice trembling with the thin thread of dignity he tried to hold. If you fire that ship, if you unleash that arsenal, you will not only kill us, you will tear this galaxy apart. The human diplomat's eyes narrowed. Then understand us. We do not seek war, but we will not run from it. We will not be chained. You tried to break us before we had even begun. Now you see that we are not the children you imagined. We are the storm you never prepared for. The chamber trembled as the words settled. No one dared respond. The galaxy's most powerful rulers, the voices that had shaped star systems for centuries, now sat silent before the newcomers they had mocked. Finally, one of the quieter alien leaders, his voice thin and cracked, spoke. What do you demand? The diplomat's reply was cold and simple. Respect, nothing more, nothing less. You will not mock us. You will not chain us. You will not call us weak. We are here, and we are staying. The council chamber felt like the eye of a storm. Every leader knew they were trapped. They could fight and see their fleets burned in hours, or they could yield and live in the shadow of humanity's arsenal. The choice was no longer theirs. The balance of power had shifted forever. For long minutes, no one spoke. Then the Chancellor slowly bowed his head, the silver scales of his body dim in the light. Then humanity will have its place, he said. Peace will be on your terms. The chamber stirred with shock, but no one dared object. The most powerful voice in the galaxy had bent. The human diplomat gave no smile, no triumph, only a cold nod. Then the talks are finished. Outside, the massive human ship dimmed its glow, its weapons settling into silence. The fleets held their positions, steady and disciplined. Humanity had not fired a single shot, but they had won more than any battle could give. They had won fear. They had won respect. They had forced the galaxy to see them as equals, or more. As the alien leaders filed out of the chamber, whispers followed in every language. Some whispered of fear. Others whispered of revenge. But all whispered the same truth. The galaxy had changed. The humans remained last in the chamber. Their diplomat stood silent, her eyes fixed on the stars beyond. She knew this victory was not the end. It was only the beginning. For though the galaxy had bent today, it would not forget. Enemies would plot in the shadows. Alliances would shift. Wars would come again. But when they did, humanity would be ready. The great ship turned slowly, its engines igniting with the force of a rising sun. The stars seemed to tremble as it moved, followed by the endless fleet. Together they drifted into the void, leaving behind a council that would never look at Earth the same way again. And so, the day was remembered. The day diplomacy shattered. The day humanity unveiled its arsenal. The day the galaxy realized Earth was not weak, not small, not a child race to be mocked. It was the day the galaxy changed forever.